Do I know how to be on this thing anymore? I don't think I do.
There's something in my mouth. It hasn't been that long, but it does feel like
Doesn't
it's
it?
been.
When I drove over here, I was like,
You're like, when was the
I
last
was
time
like,
I've been here?
do I know what to do anymore? And I literally was like, where do I park? I usually like don't have to use directions, but I had to like use directions because I was like, I don't know what we're
She's
doing.
like, I need the maps because I don't know what's going on.
Welcome back to Girl, Everything's Fine. It's Jordan and Taylor here. Look at that.
In
So professional.
2026, I know.
Yeah, dude, 2026. That's pretty wild.
I know. How's it going? How's the start to your year?
Shitty. I mean, I think my year started off like with a real dump, so I'm thinking it might as well go up from here.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. So the Chinese New Year doesn't start till next month.
Till February 11th, 17th, something like that.
I thought it was 17th, yeah. So maybe.
Well, what's interesting though is everybody was talking about how the year, like the Chinese year before, was like so horrible, whatever. And I was like, I actually thought it was like pretty great. Like I got married, like blah blah blah, and then it literally this Chinese New Year is ending, but like our New Year is starting, just like with a horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I think
so,
I think it depends on your perception of what the 2025 Chinese New Year was, because it was the year of the snake, so it was like shedding.
Yeah.
And like lessons and like closing those lessons, like lessons that you started the year before that you were like really getting a wrap on, and like leaving things behind and deciding like what was for you and what wasn't. So for some people, I think that's a really good thing, and for some people,
I
it's
think
a really
though
bad
those
thing.
messages are so true. I do think last year I shed so much.
Agree. Yeah.
And then I think, I mean, I'll get into it like a little later in the episode, but like I had a miscarriage, which like fucking sucked on January 2nd.
Yeah.
Like you think you celebrate this like amazing thing and you're so excited, and then January 2nd, our doctor comes around and is like, there's no heartbeat. And like that is how I started my year. Like my January year, not Chinese New Year. I do think though in so many other ways I shed so many things and people and situations, and I'm still planning to shed this year some other things.
Yeah.
And I think there's lessons, and we'll talk about it from 2025 that you take with you, and there's things that you leave behind. That's not one of the things that I wanted to leave behind. But that doesn't mean that it's not a lesson, or it's, I grieved, I cried, I'm still grieving, I still cry, but it's not the way I wanted to start my year, but like I don't think this yet defines me as like I'm not going to be a mom or anything like that. I still think I'm going to be a mom. I still think we're going to have a family. I don't know what that's going to look like right now, just because like I don't know what my fertility journey is going to look like, but I'm not like, people are like, are you going to start IVF? And I'm like, way to be like really intrusive, but like I don't know yet.
Like, I need a second to just like catch my breath
I don't know what the
happened.
future looks like. I'm people are like, well, you're so lucky that you got pregnant, and I'm like, again, like thank you, and I am trying to see that optimistic side of things, but it doesn't mean that that's not like necessarily what you want to hear. Like it really, it's just a really shitty situation, and we're hoping that this new year, I mean, obviously likely within the Chinese New Year's, hopefully, knock on wood, when I will be pregnant and come to fruition. But
I think somebody saying anything outside of like,
I'm sorry and I'm here for you.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Let me know if you need anything, is like wildly inappropriate.
You know what?
I don't know when we're going to learn that. Like, unless it's like but I guess I don't even know. I was going to say, unless it's like your truest and like best family member or friend. But even then, like, it's not, I don't want to hear that shit.
I think people come to you with good intentions, but they don't know what to say, and they trip over their words.
Yeah. And then they're like,
and they just kind of like word vomit, and they don't even know what they said or if it's going to help. And it's not coming, like, I'm trying to look at it as like, no one is coming from a bad place. Everybody is bummed and sad and like feels for you. It's just like, they're not going through that situation. And some people are obviously going through the situation at the same time. But I think like I've tried not to be like, why did they say that? It's just kind of like I think they don't know what to say, so that's what they say.
They say too much.
Yeah.
Let's, in 2026, say less.
Let's all say not a lot.
Say less than what we were saying because...
Yeah. Well, how are you?
Yeah, good. I mean, I haven't done anything. I've done a lot of... Okay, and granted, it's only, what is it, the 12th? I mean, it's only been a fucking hot minute, but I've really set some, like... goals and like things that I want to do for myself this year that I'm like really, really fucking on top of because which we'll get into in like a second. So I've been like honing in on all of that. And then without telling this whole story because I just like don't even fucking want to get into it or care anymore, but like a couple of months ago, I was like, I'm going through a thing and I don't want to talk about it right now. And this whole thing, basically, I had gotten a new job, 6 months ago? Yeah, which was like really great. And I was really excited about it and all these things. And I had left like your traditional healthcare world to move into commercial pharmaceuticals. And it was like the best team, the best of all the things. And probably 45 days into employment, I was told that I was going to be laid off in January because they were just not anything to do with me, but just across the company getting rid of my position. So there was actually 16 of us. So I was dealing with that at the end of the year. And that wasn't something I was really talking about with anybody because I was, one, like spiraling, and two, just like mortified and embarrassed because I was so excited to like tell people that I had gotten. Yeah. It was like an accomplishment, and it's so hard to get into that world coming from healthcare and like all these other things. And so I went and like I boasted about it and I made it like, and then
you were really excited.
And then 5 minutes later I was like, I don't have a job anymore. Long story short, I've since gotten a new job with my same company, sort of. My same commercial company, a different pharmaceutical company. And I'm doing a little bit more clinical education, which is really just like more my jam anyways. So yeah, that was kind of like a big adjustment for me. So now I'm in the phase of that where I'm like getting back into the swing of like starting a new role and all that comes with that. So, which has been fine and refreshing and all the things, but it just was like,
it's a roller coaster of like, bum, to then like, am I going to then finally locking in a new thing.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about it when I was like talking about just feeling down and whatever, and not speaking to the situation, but it's just like, you have to like process it in some way for it to not keep carrying it for all those, you know what I mean? Because it was like, it happened. I found out about it in like the middle of November. And obviously up until last Friday, I was still employed at that job. I just was like doing less work and more job searching, because whatever. But I had to like feel the feels about it in the beginning to like move through it. And I think that was a hard concept for like people around me, and people want to help. They want to be able to say something in those moments. Same thing to like your situation.
Yeah.
It's like
people, it's good intentions. It's not bad intentions, but really there's nothing that you can say or do that's going to make me feel better unless you're giving me a new job that's going to pay me, the same or more money. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's really what I'm not asking for you to tell me. I think a lot of times too, people tell you what happened to them in that situation, and you're like, okay.
I think that's people's default, is like, what we want to do is we want to seem relatable and we want people to feel like we understand what they're going through. And so we are very quick to, I used to do it all the time. I used to be like, well, I used to try and tie something that one of my friends was going into an experience I had to provide this example of like, it's going to be okay. Or like, you'll get through it. And then like over some time I was like, this is not helpful to whatever journey that they're on. I just need to like shut my mouth and like
and
let
listen
it be.
and be an ear. And like, also I think what's hard is like when you're not ready to share, it seems like you're like, it's not like putting off is not the right word, but like it seems like you're hiding something.
Yes.
And people don't know why. So they're more curious, they're more inquisitive, and they're more like, okay, but let me help you, even though they have no idea what's going on,
And especially as somebody who just like has this like little platform with this podcast, like so badly, I went back and forth and I was like, should I just like hop on TikTok and talk about it and give people, you know, who are going through the same shit or whatever. And I just was like, no, like I can't. Like it wasn't my thing. That wasn't how I was going to move through it, you know? Like I want to be relatable and I want people who have like shared experiences to be able to be like, fuck, that happened to me too. But like in the moment while like the wound was open, I was like, I can't.
So mine, obviously it happened 10 days ago, and it's interesting with miscarrying and pregnancy and everything because like when you're out to dinner and you don't have a cocktail, you're like, we're trying right now, so I'm not drinking as much, which is very honest. Like I am lowering my alcohol intake because it does help your body overall, and like alcohol's shit for you anyway, whatever. But then people are like, are you pregnant? And you're like, no, we're trying. And then you're like, I'm supposed to get my period, even though you didn't get your period, but you're like making up all these lies because people are so fucking inquisitive. And then when we did have the miscarriage, I ended up teaching 2 classes the day that I took the second pills, which like I can explain all of that, but like then your body literally miscarries and it is the most pain that you're ever going that you go through. And in class, I started talking with some girls about just like, how are you guys? Like what's going on? And you know, they were sharing a bit about like their pregnancy journeys because that's where they are in life. And it just like kind of spilled out of me that like this happened. And they were like, so there for me, and like it was a connection to people that you didn't think you would have a connection to. Like it fucking sucks. And it was like the more that I started sharing what I was going through, it was like the more I felt supported by all random people. Like by people who I was at our holiday party talking with some nurses, and they were like, oh, well, they were just like there for me, but also sharing that like they went through something similar. And you just feel like there's not something wrong with you anymore. And that's why I went on TikTok and I shared. I recorded a story and I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to share this. Like, I just like kind of wanted to like whatever. I've been on the floor crying for days. Like, and it just was like, once you say it out loud, other people also are like, wait, I'm not alone. Because people were like, I fucking hate scrolling through TikTok and seeing all these people pregnant and da-da. It is really hard. But it's also like, I can't, you know when people say like, don't yuck my yum type of thing? Like, I'm not yucking people who are pregnant. I'm happy. That's amazing. They're bringing a beautiful being into this world. And I hope that I can have that one day. And there is a bit of jealousy and envy because like, how would there not be?
Of course.
But I'm trying not to be like discouraged by other people going through their journey. You know what I mean? And that's why I decided to go on and share, because I was like, I hope that people know that this isn't just an easy thing for people to go through. That it's not just like you have sex, you have a baby. You know, like you get pregnant and have a baby.
Which is so crazy because you want to know what? Like when you're like 16.
Yeah, and they're like, wrap it up because you're going to get pregnant.
Because you're going to get pregnant. And like at 16, you don't even understand that there's literally like a, 72 hour. I mean, it's like they say 96 hour, but really like really tight window, which you can get pregnant. And like, you don't even understand that concept. So like you grow up your whole life being like, oh my God, I'm going to get pregnant. I'm going to get pregnant. I'm going to get pregnant. And then you get ready to get pregnant and you're like, what the fuck?
No, exactly. And it stems too to like, the ways in, you know, and we'll talk through this like in 2026, that like we want to protect our peace and we want to take care of ourselves. And like, this is both of us, like when you were going through those hard times, I'm in the hard times, but now you're starting a new journey, which can be difficult, you know, like whatever that, like, how do you protect yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally through these hard times, or the happy times too, because sometimes when you're really happy can be the most destructive times to yourself because you're not thinking about caring about yourself. You're just like la 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 la. You know? It's definitely a weird time, but also I feel like the timing of it is, I'm now on a new journey, you know, like it just looks a little different than it did before.
And that's what I mean, with my situation too, you know, and I say this all the time, like I'm just a person who's like, everything happens for a reason and you can always see the bigger picture and like whatever. But like I was in a point where I was like, I don't understand like what the bigger
because you're like, why the fuck
like,
is this happening?
Yes, right.
Like, what lesson did I need to learn?
Yeah, what's the fucking take home here? Because like, I can't find it. And you know, it is what it is. And granted, like I haven't been in my current role very long at all. So like, I think I'm going to like it better, but I don't, you know, like whatever. Also,
Yeah.
I got those motherfuckers to give me more money, but like, not that money rules the world. But I'd rather cry with dollar bills than cry without them.
Listen, Darius said to me yesterday, he was like, or you know what? I was listening to Deepak Chopra on the Him and Her show, and he said something about like some of the billionaires in the world, like do they ever look happy, like whatever. And I was like, listen, money doesn't make like you automatically happier, but it makes things easier.
Yeah, it makes things easier. That's what it does. It
You
makes
know?
things easier. You have
Having
to
more
worry
money is not
about,
gonna make you happier.
Yes, you have to worry about. You can stress a little less about things because
Yes.
that's not like one of the things that ever has to cross your mind.
Exactly.
So like I've always
Exactly.
been. I agree. Money doesn't buy happiness, but also I would rather be sad with cash
I'm with you.
than sad
I'm right there with you.
without cash. So yeah, I get it. But anyways,
Anywho,
into all things 2026.
Yeah.
I'm on an aggressive journey. I
Tell me
like
about
decided
it.
all of this. I wrote because I've been very transparent that I'm not like a journaler or whatever, but I'm trying to like do a little something to put stuff on paper. And so basically like right before the new year, I was like, I'm just going to write like divide this paper into like sections of my life, like wellness, relationship, work, all that stuff, and like pick some things that I'm going to do in like each category for 2026. My number one thing, and this is going to tie into like the podcast and some stuff later, but like my phone, I got to get off this fucking phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have, you can go into like settings and you can set your phone to like kick you out of everything at a certain time. At 8 p.m. every night, Central Standard Time, my phone literally like time limits me on everything except for like text messages and phone calls because I just feel like that's an emergency protocol there. And like maps in case I was ever out and I needed to get somewhere. And then I have my Aura Ring available because I like to sync her in the morning. And my like gym apps. That's it. That's all I can. And so every night I get, a notification at 7:55 that's like your screen time is going to like be cut off at 5. It is like the greatest thing that I've ever done. And I'm embarrassed to say in the whatever week or so that I've done it, my screen time is down like 41% or something crazy. One of my best friends is doing it with me. She's like, I can't even tell you this. My screen time's down 86%. Like crazy amounts of like not being involved with this phone because want to know what? And Thomas brought it to my attention. We were sitting here on the couch like watching TV one Sunday or probably Sunday because that's when we usually like do football and all that. And he was like, Tay, I watched you just like click apps, open them. He's like, you opened your mail app in a 45-minute window like 6 times just to like erase the most recent like message and like keep it like what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even think it's like, I think it's just the habit of like doing it.
It's an addictive habit that you're not like addicted to, but like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a habit. You're literally like, the habit is to go, open, close. Go, open, close.
Yes.
Go, open, close.
Like, I'm not even, and that's the thing is like the scrolling before bedtime. I'm not even like actually, I don't think I'm actually even retaining anything
Was that
that's
you
happening.
that was like, LOL, I scroll and I don't even like, or I don't even read what I like?
Yes. Like, I don't
Which
even,
like, I'm not perfect at it either. Don't get me wrong.
I'm like, I don't even, like, I'm not even sure that I'm actually like paying attention. It's just the act of doing it has become such a habit for me because if like, I can't use my phone because I'm tied up doing something or whatever, I don't like fiend for it where I'm like, I gotta check the socials. But like when it's there and I have nothing else to do, I have to like put it down. So anyways, I have like the restrictions on it because I'm like, I need to start fucking doing something else. And so now I'm reading mostly psychological thrillers. But
Love it. I just ordered a book actually that my friend Allie Morris, she went through like, she's a really cool, like a really great graphic designer too. And she created this like beautiful graphic of like she read, I don't even know, like multiple books this year, like last year. And she did like her top 5. And so I ordered her top 1 to be like, all right, let's get into reading.
Do you have Goodreads?
I do have Goodreads.
Okay, I'll follow you on Goodreads because I just got a Goodreads. Camille, that bitch has read like 600 books in the last like 2 minutes. So I followed her on there to get some like recommendations. And now that's my new thing. I'm like, are you on Goodreads? Like I'm asking everybody about it. Because I'm like, I want to know what everybody's reading. So I'm reading. I'm getting off my phone. I'm reading. okay, and granted, again, we're 12 days in, but I'm doing pretty well. I'm gua shaing
Okay.
4 or 5 times a day. I have taken pictures of my face before, and then I have done a one side of the face only. That shit works. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I think you got to religiously do it every day. But like, I'm doing that. I'm doing my red light, which I was doing anyways, but you know, just like tie her in. I ordered a new planner. I'm going to make like some serious habit forming stuff by making like little checklists of things that I actually need to do in the day that are normally common sense, but I feel like the act of like writing them down and
Like
checking
what?
them off, like my morning routine. Like I know my morning routine, but like sometimes if I don't have especially like the last couple months where I've just like I've been in this like work like stalemate where I'm like not really like required to be on calls or meetings or going places or whatever. I've been like falling out of like things that I'm supposed to do. So like get up, do my workout, shower, do my skincare, read however many pages I want to read or something, eat breakfast, whatever I have to do for the day. I can't tell you how many times in the last 2 months I've been like, I need to run to the grocery store, or I need to run to drop this package off, or I need to whatever. And I've just like gotten into a point of coming home from my workout and sitting down on this couch and being like, well, I don't really have anything to do this week, so I'll get to it tomorrow. And then that makes me not productive because I'm not just like doing things. So that's something that I'm going to heavily do in my planner. And then relationship wise, I need to be a little more patient, I think.
Okay.
And you know, we all know that I'm a control freak of my own devices, but I also like, I can catch myself sometimes being like Thomas will put something away where I don't like it, and I'm like, I just need to shut the fuck up and leave it be, and like I can't, you know, like I'm like, don't put that, like that's not like I have things to say a lot, and I just need to like let it go.
Yeah.
And just like, or sometimes he'll do things and I'm like, I don't know why you're making life more difficult for yourself, and I want to jump to be like, do it this way. And like I just need to like exercise some patience and let him do like whatever the fuck he wants.
I get that.
So like, it's just, it plays into like the mothering thing. It plays in, you know, you're just like, you gotta like, leave it be.
Totally.
Like it's not the big deal. And then we talked about this before, but I want to start running, but like maybe not while it's freezing.
Yeah, no, not the time to pick up a new habit of running.
Habit of running. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be. I think once this, you know, the weather chills out a little bit, I'll transition into that. But those are some things that I'm like,
I think those are really good.
This is what I'm doing.
Goals, and not like these astronomical, like out of this world things. You know, where you're kind of like, oh, okay. You know, like these are very low hanging like fruit. That's kind of like, I want to optimize my life in a like beneficial way that's not overhauling my whole life. I think that's good.
Yeah. And I'm like enjoying doing the little things. I don't know. It almost like gives you this little sense of like personal purpose too.
Totally.
Because you have, like,
especially when you're moving into the era of like working from home. That is a little bit like chaotic, might not be the right word, but like it is a little chaotic because there's no one telling you have to walk into the office at 9 a.m.
Right.
And so you're like, I need to now get to my chair or my standing desk for you by 9 a.m. But it's like you then could essentially get up at 8:30.
Right. And so that's the other thing too, is like I was being a little like lax with my gym schedule too. Obviously, like I'm a 5:30 person, but I was like, I don't have anything to do, so I could go at 6:30 or 7:30, and then I was coming home, and then I was like just fucking around, and then like the middle of the day would come, and I would be like, what am I doing? And then it would get dark early, and then I would spiral because I'm like, it's dark and I've done nothing, and now I need to find the motivation to get up and like make dinner or like whatever. And
it really is like more hectic and chaotic, and you're kind of like, I feel that a lot for myself going into this year. Obviously, I'll talk through kind of what Darius and I did, but we, as far as like habits and things that I would like to instill, I also did get a new planner.
I love a new planner.
Well, I also
love
feel
a crisp, clean page.
Yeah, when my last planner, I had to like rip out some pages because I was like, these are gross. These are like,
I fucked this up. Yeah.
But I want to be able to, my hands are in like 20 pots, and I want to be able to see clearly like organization. Like I have different calendars, so like syncing one calendar is a little bit more difficult, but can I see on paper what I have to do when, and how can I organize like my overall to-do list?
Yeah.
I agree, a better morning routine, a better evening wind down
Yes.
is definitely something that I'm looking towards, because I'm not a 10-step face mask thing girly.
Sure.
Like I'm never going to have like I'm in a
You
minimal
like low
skincare.
maintenance
Yeah.
self-care. Yeah.
Minimal is like kind of what I do. Like I love a face mask. I love to chill and do it.
Yeah.
I also have like hemmed and hawed with bricking my phone, which is like the new like little tool where you put it somewhere, and if you want to get into your apps, you have to brick it. If you want to get out of them, you have to brick it.
Yeah.
And if I'm out and my phone is bricked, like people are like, there is no way that you can get back in.
Yeah.
I'm so curious about like the next generation that's being born, how their attachment to technology is going to be, because I think the younger generation, like right from us, like X and Zennials or whatever, or Gen Z, is like they are still addicted to their phone, but I think a little bit younger, they're a little bit more like maybe not. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that comes.
The fucking iPhone is the new pacifier. Like, like, and again, like I don't know children really, but like for the generations that are just like right below us, it's like they get handed this thing so little, and then it just becomes like their entire
Darius
identity.
and I talked a lot about that, and granted, we are not parents, so we don't know anything yet.
Yeah.
But like, we talked a lot about like our relationship with our phones has to change in order for our child's relationship with a phone to look
Is he
different.
a big scroller?
Yes and no.
Okay.
He's a big like. If he's on his phone and they have this fucking chat, it's like with all these guys, and they just like all day long.
Yes.
Like, literally
Yes.
in the car yesterday, we went to like see different open houses, and he's able to text them, and I asked him to look up something, and he's like, I think I'm going to get dizzy. And I'm like, so you can fucking text in the chat, but you can't look something up for me?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's bananas. So then, but like also when he's texting or on Twitter, he's like, you can't get anything in edgewise.
Yes.
So is he like a perfect example of like how to have a good relationship with your phone? No. And so I think that's something we both have to work on, so that when we do bring a life into this world, it's like you need to show them, like, because you can't expect your child to have like this like no phone zone if you're sitting there at dinner on your phone.
On your phone. I
think, and I think I say this as like I know everything. I don't. Like having a child is very overwhelming. And then the energy to like play and think of something that's not with a screen, because what do we do?
No,
when we're bored.
When you want to check out. Yeah.
Like when we want to relax, we turn on the TV or we turn on our phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a new talk about reading. Like it's something new where, I think reading is so important because your imagination goes somewhere, versus a lot of people are always like, I like to read the book before I watch the movie, because their mind is like, I'm creating the character.
Yeah.
And I've thought of it. And my imagination's now imagining the two characters that I have in my head, whatever. So yeah, I'm on board with like, I think it's very attainable. Darius and I, on the winter solstice, which I think was like December 21st, we saw this girl on Instagram, speaking of social media, but she was like, every day, she's like, write 12, I think it was 11 or 12 wishes, goals, ambitions, whatever, and write 12 of them, crumple them up, pick one each day to burn. Don't look at which one you're burning. Like, don't look at it. Just pick it up and burn it. And then the last day, she basically was saying that like the ones that you burn are the ones that you are letting the universe take care of. You're basically saying, universe, take care of it. And the last one is the one that you have to like make come true. And it was amazing. And it was like incredible. I was like, so I put some in there that was like become a mom and like the type of mom I wanted to become. And I put one in that was like open a studio.
Yeah.
And the last one, I was between two. And one of them, I was like, I think this is open the studio. And the other one, I didn't know what it was. And I was like, the one that kept flying out was the one I thought was open a studio. And I was like, I have to burn that then. Like, and I was so bummed about it.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, I have to burn it. Last day I opened it up and it was open a studio.
studio.
And I was like, I looked at Darius and I was like, like goosebumps all over my body. Because we all know this has been like my dream.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And my mind was like, not right away, like, let's force myself to go open this studio.
Right.
It was more like 2026 can be the year that I start to really put plans into place to do it. And it may not be 2026 that it opens.
No. Yeah.
But, you know, and I think that's something too, is like when you have these goals, dreams, whatever, you start to think about like, I got to accomplish it. And if I don't, then I'm a loser.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like,
no.
no, I think we can set realistic goals and dreams and just like know that you're working towards it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that's going to look like. But like, I think that's something when I was like, okay, like it was kind of like this, the universe is trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
Because I was
like
trying to
little
save
activity.
that other one.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm glad I listened to my gut of like, the universe is trying to tell you got to burn that one. Like,
yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, the universe is telling me that like it will take care of the studio at some point. But then it was like, no, wait.
But why did you think that one was the studio?
I just had a feeling.
You just had a feeling. Okay.
I just was like, I've got this feeling that this is the one
I
that
gotcha.
said it. I don't know. And I didn't want to burn it, but I burned it and it wasn't,
And
you know?
Yes.
I was like, okay, Darius, pick left or right. And he was like, I'm not supposed to. And I was like, just pick. And he picked the one that I thought, you know what I mean? So like everything was just telling me to burn that one. I'm happy I burnt it. You know, I burned whatever one. And the one I opened was the studio. So again, it's just crazy. Wow.
Yeah. The universe is funny in that way.
Totally. So yeah.
But I think also like, so this is especially like as you move into like, this is your year for planning or like whatever. I think having this like tangible organization is like, so I got it from some girl on TikTok who was like, that's what she did. It's like, instead of writing down her just like morning routine, like she actually wrote out like not every day, but like write out the steps like on the top of like the week so that like you can reflect, okay, like did I do those things? And like you're more likely to like keep your flow of productivity going if you're like checking off the things that you have to do versus like just coming home, sitting down and being like, I have all this stuff to do and I can do it at some point.
Well, I think that also stems from like, how are you starting your day?
Are you a block scheduler or a block? Is that what they call it? Block planning or block scheduling?
It's funny that you say that because more and more, I think I need to block out certain days for various, you know, I'm like a multi-passionate, whatever, but we both have like different things that we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think because it's disorganized, I think a block schedule will help to be like, this hours when you've got to get this done. And our work days essentially are 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, no one's saying you got to start at 7 and no one's saying you got to end at 7.
Right.
But like 9 to 5 is the time. So like, do what you can within those 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But I think a big thing is how you wake up in the morning.
1,000%.
And
1,000%.
when you work from home, and I was in the habit of like, my day starts at 9, I'll wake up at like 8, you know?
No, I know. Well, that's how I was getting. I was like, well, I have no reason to live because I have nothing to do. So like, I'll just sleep in a little bit. And then it was just that perpetuated. Like, I'm not saying that you have to get up at 5 and work out. I just perform better at 5 and I like the crew at 5 and like I'm just a 5 girly. But like I found when I gave myself, which is okay to give yourself grace too, like that's not what I'm saying, like you know, sleeping here or there,
the
but like
lacks of like, listen, if you go to a 9 a.m. workout and that's the workout that you do, but you started your day at 8 o'clock and got up and you were doing something from that 8 to 9 block that is somewhat productive and not just like lollygagging around your house, I don't care what time it is.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's about, I think it's the fact that like I was just getting up whenever to essentially start my day.
Yes.
Rather than I'm going to get up with purpose and start my day in a purposeful way.
Yes. And like, I think also too, I just know that about myself.
Yeah.
If I do not provide myself some fucking structure for the day, I will sit here on this couch all day
Right.
and I will
And
not.
everybody will.
And like, I'm not a lazy person. Like, I'm very type A and I'm very go, go, go and like all that other stuff. But it's because I've always been forced to be that way.
Yeah.
And now I have a little bit of like,
Or you'll sit with your computer on your lap with the TV on in the background and be like,
yeah, no, I won't do that anymore. But
I'll
like,
get
I was
some-
even doing like, just like, for my last job, like modules and things on this couch. I bought a standing desk because I was telling Jordan when she got here, I got a new iPad from work and I got tracking from FedEx. And I was like, I just assumed it was the iPad, right? Because like I knew that was coming. And I also get an iPhone. So I was like, it's one of these two things. And I went downstairs to pick up my package on Friday and there was a box that was literally half of my size. And I was like, something's wrong here. Like they shouldn't have. And then I picked it up and it had to have weighed 25 pounds. And I got it up here and it was an industrial size, like company printer. So like if anyone in the West Loop area needs to print anything at all, you can come to my apartment and print. But I was like, where the fuck am I going to put this printer? I don't have any room for this. So I bought a standing desk, which I was meaning to get anyways.
Yeah.
But now I just like, I will not take my computer or my iPad off that desk to come over here and do shit because I just know how I am.
Well, I mean, also the couch is not meant like, and I think work from home, like you have to differentiate your home from your office.
Yes.
One of actually the things that I walked into the year with was working somewhere that is not my home because, and I said this to Darius, I was like, I have access to Lifetime, which is like their cafe is actually like nice. Like you can sit in the cafe, you can work from there. They do have Lifetime work, but I'm not going to get a membership to it. But like to sit in the cafe, it just like differentiates your
space. Yeah.
I go into the office twice a week and it's like that differentiates and gives you a little bit of like that structure that, and not everybody has the choice to go into an office, so I get that, but like you have the choice to leave your home because creating the space that is your home, it's your intimacy, it's your work, it all becomes tangled and you don't know how to disconnect from the day. And that's really hard too.
I know when I was I put my standing desk together yesterday, which Thomas was going to do, but listen, full transparency, I've been PMSing the last couple of days and he said something yesterday that I so overreacted to. It's not even funny. But then once I'm hot, I'm hot. You know what I mean? And like and so he obviously was going to put the desk together for me and then I was watching the Bills game and then he had fallen asleep and I was like, I'm going to put my fucking desk together to make sure he knows I'm an independent woman and I don't need so I'm in the guest room fucking hands because I don't know how to use the power.
Poor Thomas.
I don't know how to use. Okay, poor me sometimes too, but I don't know how to use the power drill. I mean, I'm sure it's self-explanatory, but I didn't want to fuck this desk up, so there I am, hand screwdriver,
I'd be the
using
same.
everything just to like prove a fucking point. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just trying to."
I'm trying to prove a point.
So, anyways, I set it up in my guest room, and he was like, "Are you sure? Like that's where you want it? Like you can put, we can move stuff around." And I was like, "Yeah, but like where else?" And he was like, "Well, I don't know. Like I have this huge space in my bedroom that there's just nothing in right now." And I was like, "No, because I don't want to associate
my bedroom with my work.
My bedroom with my no matter how like aesthetically pleasing it could be. Like I don't want that in there."
I really think that's like toxic.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I don't want no. Like I come in here to wind down.
State.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. So yeah, no. So now I've made myself my little office. I'm gonna get a walking pad.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the things. I mean, I'm really taking off with a bang at this
And
year.
that's
So
how
somebody
you should
check
start.
on me in 30 days and see how I'm doing because I've really hit the ground running here. Not with like anything crazy, but
that's what I think though. It's not like these huge ginormous changes. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
You're not going out with like, I'm doing this. And I think that that's where goal setting or like intentions or resolutions or whatever get lost is like, when you think about like following through on things, it's like you have to make small little promises to yourself that you keep because that builds trust within yourself. You know what I mean? And when you do these like big grand things, like I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it, you like start to lose faith in yourself.
Yeah.
And so many people do that at the beginning of the year where they're like, I'm going to go to the gym every day. It's like,
yeah.
why don't you start with like 3 days a week? Like start with 3 days a week.
No, people
I'm
can't
gonna
help
go to the
themselves.
gym.
Our classes, all my classes, I mean, like I said, again, we're barely into the new year. My Tuesday and my Saturday class packed to the brim with a wait list and everything. And I'm just like, in a month.
No, the gym's like that all the time where it's like the first 3
and
4
I
weeks.
hate that whole notion, and that's just like a whole conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the thing is like you start the year and you're like, I'm going to do all of this stuff. Like, why did January 1st come around and we thought that we had to make all these changes? Like,
I know. I feel like it gives people this sense of like clean slate or something. Like I think we've made it, and I think we've created that, you know, like I think we've created this space where it's like, okay, like rinse everything from the new year or this past year and like do everything completely different.
Yes.
And you have to be the best version of yourself on day one in order to keep the best version of yourself going. And it just is, it just is very unrealistic.
It 100% is. It's a very weird world that I think marketing wise people market towards. It's like a restart.
Yes.
You know, so it's funny because Equinox just launched their campaign for the year, which is like question everything. And it's the way that I took it is it's essentially like their imagery that they're using is AI generated images, like a girl with 3 boobs, a horse diving into the water, like all these things. And it's like question everything but yourself. Yeah. And it's like the world is going to sell you a bunch of shit out there. And we're so easy to believe it. We're so easy to believe that this magic diet works, that this pill works, that this girl on the internet is gonna, you know, answer all of our prayers and the things that she's selling, whatever it is. But the one thing that we often question is like, can we do it? But it's like question everything else and have the faith in yourself that you can do it. And I thought it was like a very powerful message because it's like, we are getting so blurred with like what's reality, what's AI, what's truth, what's not on the internet. But like we have ourselves and we can do what we want.
Yeah.
It's a powerful campaign, I think.
Yeah, no,
if you look deep into it.
Yeah. No, I'm into it. It is. I mean, everything left and right. It's lately I've been like getting, you know, when I am like just scrolling on social media, like sometimes I get stuff that I have to like really look at it and I'm like, is this real? Like, is this even like a real person?
Darius's mom, bless her heart, will send us these videos of like cute little babies and we're like, this is AI.
Yeah.
Like it's so wild because it's like, it blurs the line between like, is it real? Is it not? But like when you look closely, it's AI. Like the dogs dancing. I'm like, this is weird, but I kind of want to do it with my dog.
I know. Have you seen the ones of people make cakes that look exactly like their dog and then they cut into the cake and the dog freaks out?
Yes.
I think it's all AI though. I don't think it's real.
I literally have to skip past those because it makes me so uncomfortable how uncomfortable the dog is.
The dog is, I know.
It makes me
I'm like,
so
I don't think that this is
uncomfortable.
real. Yeah, that's the world we're living in. You can't even tell. I mean, I get it and it's nice. And, you know, I was trying to tell Thomas to like, you know, the person who's like, might as well have a block of stone and a, you know, piece of metal to etch onto because he doesn't like even know how to use his phone.
Yeah.
I was telling him, I was like, you should use, he was just like brainstorming ideas, you know, to kind of just expand who he is as a chiropractor in this city and whatever. And he's got great ideas, but I was like, you know, you should bounce some shit off of ChatGPT. Like, tell it about you and who you are, and like just to come up with things that you might not have thought of. And he was like appalled at that idea because he was just like, I don't want to be able to not think for myself. And I'm like, but it's not that either, right? Like there is a fine line of like, it can be really helpful. Like it can like come up with some shit that like
I said to
might
someone,
be creative.
Where we are right now with AI, you are losing if you're not utilizing it in some way.
Yeah.
And that does not mean at all that it should be your mind, that it should be your focal point. Like, but to your point, bouncing some ideas off of it, getting some ideas, like asking it questions, like whatever, like you're just, unfortunately, like, do I want to be the country that's like AI? Like, oh my God, we're AI, whatever. No. But that is where we're at right now.
Right,
like,
right.
We're at that point, and you will lose out if you don't use it in some way. Now, I think there's a point where you're like using it for everything, and your brain's not working, and you're just like, let me feed everything into ChatGPT, and it's like, listen, ChatGPT is there, but it's not going to execute shit for you. It's not going to go press send on an email, post on your social media, go reach out to things, whatever. So it's like, you also need to know how to take it and do something with it.
Do something with it, right. Utilize it in an appropriate way versus like, I think people don't write their own emails anymore.
150% they do not. The emails that I get, I'm like, that is a ChatGPT email.
My friend, it's so funny. So she still works. She's an NP school and she's still working as a nurse. And she was doing when you're a nurse, there's like a clinical ladder you can climb. You can become like a level 2 or a level 3 or however like your system structures it. And usually it involves you participating in some kind of like committee, or you develop a project or whatever, and you have to like write a thing for it to prove that like you're actually going to do it. And then you kind of have to like, not like prove a thesis, but like give a little presentation to the powers that be about like who you are and like why this is a good idea. And then they say, okay, like good for you, level 2. And there's, a pay raise that comes with it. That's the incentive for people to do that and be involved more in their staff. But so she had sent me, she was asking for some ideas of what she could do. And I was kind of like bouncing stuff off of her, and she was like, okay, like, how does this sound? And she sent it to me, and I said, yeah, sounds great, but I'd go ahead and take those dashes out because everyone's going to know you just wrote that shit with ChatGPT. And she texted me back, like cracking up. She's like, does it sound like ChatGPT? I'm like, it doesn't sound computerized, like but I can tell that that's not how you type. Or it was like point of care is like a testing system that's utilized throughout.
P.O.C.
Yes. Yeah. But she did like, it said like point dash of dash care.
Yeah.
And never in the history of ever would she have ever written that. Or would I have ever written that? Like it's just ChatGPT doesn't understand what that is a little bit.
It's not a person, it's a computer.
Yes.
And I think that's where if you are not double checking, like checking the computer, because we've gotten into a point where like we always think the computer's right. Like we barely do hand math anymore. Everything's done in a calculator, and so I think that's where we still have to double check. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Is it right?
Yes.
Is it actually what I believe?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, do I actually believe this, or did the article that they found the answer from say it this way?
Say it. Yes. Yes. So there is. I'm very much like, I'm team ChatGPT, but also like I think you gotta use it for good and not for just like the pure laziness of
100%.
Because then it just everything becomes disingenuous and you don't even know who you're talking to anymore. But so yeah, it's a good tool for 2026.
Agreed. It's not. I don't think it's the end all be all, but I think you have to embrace it in some way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like ChatGPT could probably come up with a morning routine for you if you don't have one.
I have one. It's just like get it in an order where it like gets me to do shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, there's a lot it can do. Like it could, based on when you were, like what your birth chart is and if you're like a generator or whatever, like it can tell you the best things that you should be doing for yourself. Like there's a lot the internet has that can help you.
Yes.
But it's also like, let's not be so addicted to it that's our...
Utilize your resource. Don't become your resource.
Addicted. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about what's coming up with the pod.
Yeah, so speaking of things and organization and energy and all of that, Taylor and I had like a really honest conversation about the podcast. Mm-hmm. I think to the point of not wanting to be attached to your phone every day and living through a screen and all of that, it gets really difficult and it is very time consuming this is really easy. Getting on and chatting and shooting the shit and all of that. But the behind the scenes of editing, posting, sharing, showing up online, because that's essentially how a lot of people find us, is a lot of work. And so that's not to say that we're stopping it, because we're not. And, there's a lot of benefits that we see in this too. But we're moving instead of every Wednesday to every other week. Yeah. And that's a choice.
Yeah. And I think just given, my work schedule is about to change a lot and I'm going to be traveling a lot, and, Jordan always is everywhere and all over the place.
Me?
But I just think that, if we're going to sit here on this couch and every week we're going to preach like taking care of yourself and doing what's best for you and what feeds your soul and what feeds your life, and I think it would be wrong and disingenuous of us to keep like trying to crunch this out every week when we just simply like don't have the capacity to do it.
Like the effort that we can put in right now is in every other week.
Yeah. And it's not about, like she said, it's not about the filming part. Like this is the best part of it. It's just like the behind the scenes, especially as like two people who are sitting here trying to be like, we've put time constraints on our phone and we're bricking our phone and like all this stuff. And now it's like, I have to be active on social media. And, you know, I said to Jordan, like, when we met, I was like, you know, I just like don't want to be this person on the internet with like 20,000 or however many followers. And not that I'm anywhere fucking close to that. I'm not. I have like 1,000 followers on Instagram. Like like I'm not trying to say like that's where I was headed, and I just like don't know that that's right for me. But like I think that in order to kind of, you know, sometimes be really, really successful in this realm and have this be what you devote all your time and energy to, you have to have a bigger online presence. You have to be,
and you have to be consistent. And being consistent
yeah.
is hard when you're trying to be consistent at so many other things.
Yeah.
And I think it's not like this isn't a bad thing. You're still going to hear from us. We're still going to produce podcasts. It is still going to be shared on social, but we're hoping that the less editing will produce more of a thoughtful, meaningful way of sharing that isn't just like, all right, we got to do this today.
Yeah. And like, we also want conversations to be like productive and like have a point and a meaning. And like sometimes, and we know that a lot of people love that because we get all the time like, oh my God, we love to just like listen to you girls yap or like whatever it is. And we're happy to like just come on here and yap sometimes, and that'll happen again. It's not like every single episode we go from here on is going to have like a constructive like take home. Like sometimes it will just be us yapping because you relate to that. But we do want to have a little more thought and intention behind what we're recording. And that's a lesson that we've just like kind of learned along the way. And I just like given, you know, it's funny because, and I mention her all the time on this podcast, and if you listen, but like Layla had asked me like a long time ago, my guardian angel sent from whatever universe they sent her to me from. If you don't know who she is, she's a psychologist who's been on here and you talked to us about a lot of things, and she's helped guide me on my like mental health journey and stuff. But she had asked me like probably before the summer, you know, like when I was having a hard time like finding my purpose in life and yada, 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 she just was like, is it possible for you to have so many things? Like, are you okay with not giving 100% to 5 things? Are you okay with giving 20% to 5 things? And at the time I was like, yeah, because that 20% is going to be my best 20% of, you know.
Yeah.
And like, I think when I answered that question then, I was a little naive to like life, because I think that I was kind of at a point in life where I was just coasting and I was still working as an RN and I was just clocking in and clocking out and it didn't really mean anything. And my fitness career was on like this stable trajectory where I was just going and teaching cycle and doing stuff. And now I'm involved in a few more things. Catch me at Lifetime sometime soon, everybody. But,
that was me.
But like, it just, you know, I kind of was like, I have a different answer to that question now than I had when she asked me 7, 8, 9 months ago. And so I think that it's important to give this a lot of effort. I just don't have the capacity personally to give it weekly effort when that effort is not the conversation piece. It's the editing, it's the social media, it's the presence that I like need to have that I don't want to have. Like it just, I don't know. It just feels disingenuous, I guess.
I think it would be really great if we had a producer and we had an editor.
Yeah, like if I had all the money in the world.
Social media manager and all
sure.
of these things, I think that's like when you look or you listen, you're like, oh, this is such a great chit chat and it's so fun. And like, and it is like, I love sitting here and talking and chatting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it is, we've had to realistically like look in the mirror and be like, this is the change we need to make. And we don't know what the next change will be or what it's going to look like moving forward. But in this season of life, this is what we have to do to make this feasible for both of us, to not get to a point where we resent sitting here and filming and recording, and have an honest look at what it looks like. And that may change again, but kicking off our January with this update is what feels true and right to us.
Yeah. And I think that I think a little bit of the conversation that we had about it, it's you get this kind of like feeling because you're like, I don't want to say that out loud because I don't want it to seem like we've failed because we're like, we can't keep up with this. But I'm not looking at it like that. It just is.
I think we would fail if we were recording weekly,
Yeah.
resenting each other quietly. You know what I mean? Like quietly basically being like, fuck, I gotta do, you know, like we had to both kind of like scaredly go and have a conversation of like, I want to change this.
Yeah.
And hoping the other person would be like, yeah, me too. And that's kind of what happened is we both were kind of like, I agree.
And I think at the end of the day, like if people listen to this and they're like, good for them, great, happy to have you. And I think if there's people that are like, what losers, they couldn't pull it off, then fuck you. Like, I don't really know.
Stop listening.
You know, yeah.
No, just kidding.
Like,
Listen.
Yeah, engagement is engagement. But I just, yeah, it is what it is. And I think that that's what's best for both of us right now. And that's the journey that we're on. And who knows, you know, in like a month we could be like, we miss it. I mean, it depends. But that's just like the open, honest transparency of where we're at. So you can expect twice a month from us.
Yeah, every other week. I would say we've got a lineup of some really unique and cool
stuff.
Yeah, cool episodes coming up. We have figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
another logistic thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously like a lot of changes and newness for both of us, and
yeah,
we'll just keep you updated along the way.
Yeah. Let us know what your like 2026 things are. I mean, I'll snip this too and put it on social so that we can get people in comments that necessarily don't listen to the full episode or whatever it is. But like, what's everybody doing for 2026? What's your thing? What's your change? What's your goal? What's your, no matter how minor, how big, I like to know like what people are.
Yeah, it might inspire us.
What people are up to. So yeah, let us know. That's our story.
What a way to kick off 2026.
I know. It doesn't really feel like 2026. Does it feel like 2026 to you?
I don't know.
I was asleep at 10 p.m. on 2025.
I stayed up until 12 o'clock Eastern time. That's 11 o'clock here. I know.
Were you in Eastern time?
No.
Oh. Bitch, you could have stayed up till 4 p.m. and said in Australia.
Exactly.
It's the new year. All right. Well, that's all we have for you today.
And for the first time in 2026, we will say,
we will leave you with,
girl,
everything's fine. Ciao.
Bye.